How about it, ladies and gentlemen? Lee Cole here.
Hello.
Gloria, it hit me when I was at the grocery store today. I'm such a senior citizen now because I go out to lunch and do my grocery shopping all at the same time. I'm just so pissed off at Publix, though, because we have two main grocery store chains here in Atlanta, Publix and Kroger. Because by the time I was old enough to get the senior discount, Kroger got rid of their senior discount, and then Publix said, well, screw that. We're going to get rid of our senior discount, too. I've been looking forward to the senior discount for, 20 years.
That's hilarious, Lee.
I know. All I have to look
simple joys of life, right? The simple pleasures of life, right?
all I have to look forward to now is getting a walker, buying a small condo in Florida, playing shuffleboard, and trying not to get killed by a hurricane. That's all that's left for me.
Hey, I want my little baby hot red candy apple red golf cart, right, in my little senior community, right?
Gloria doesn't want a walker. She wants a jet-powered golf cart. Howard, how are you? We're just sitting here chewing the fat a little bit while we get some more people on here. We got a bunch of y'all registered and a bunch of you on. Let's make sure that you can actually hear us. Nobody has said, Lee, shut up yet, so I'm not sure if you can hear me yet.
Maybe it's just you and me talking, Lee. Who knows, right?
How about it, Patty? How's life in Chicago, in the Windy City?
Chi-town.
Art, how are you, buddy? Well, Gloria?
Yeah?
Again, everything changed, didn't it?
It's always changing. It is like drinking from a fire hose, right? So it's really, really crazy. But, we like to bring some updates to you guys so you kind of have an idea of what's going on because it's so very difficult to keep track of everything. And we have really a lot to talk about today. We'll go over some AI updates and what we're kind of seeing in search. What you need to do to prepare for what is coming down the pike as far as AI is related and search, what's going on and why and how AI can see everything be everywhere and how it's impacting how people are finding information out there. We'll talk about traditional SEO, the old keywords and metadata and all that type of stuff, and it's losing visibility more and more and more and more. And we've talked about that a little bit in the past, but we'll talk about it a little bit more today. And what is going on when we're kind of in this transitional period. We've got a bunch of websites that have been, optimized for the way we've always optimized them, the way Google's always operated. But what has happened in, I think it was November of 2022 or 2023, I forget, it's been so long ago, I think it's 2022, I forget, is that AI changed everything. And since ChatGPT was introduced to now, the evolution has just been insane and it is impacting every facet, not just every facet of life, but certainly every facet of what we do, our online, what we do online basically, and we'll talk about some of that. So also there's, again, there's opportunity in this type of stuff with all of this changing. There is a need for these businesses to fix the things that need to be fixed, and there's money to be made, and we want to bring that to you. So that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about. So, a couple of things that I want to point out just to get you guys an understanding, big picture wise, of what's going on with AI and the updates is that when we first started, if you think about it, when Lee and I were first doing, ChatGPT when it first came out, and we were all excited about it, what it can do now is just light years different. It is night and day. It's generating all sorts of really, really good ad copy, blog posts, videos, podcasts, imagery. You can't even tell what's real and what's fake. And AI is actually generating really good content. Okay, it's not crappy content anymore, and you don't have to really massage it to get it to create good stuff. Usually you just ask it and it delivers. In addition to that, what AI is able to do with its deep tentacles and deep learning and deep analysis is it can do pattern recognition. It's creating dynamic content at scale. It's using predictive, psychographic, dynamic segmentation, and it's able to get its tentacles in and identify audiences, these micro targets audiences, and serve up the information that best suits them. Okay, I don't know if you guys have ever seen, I think it's Minority Report, where Tom Cruise is in, I think he's in the bus or something, and then the ads on the TV monitors are changing based on him, and based on, it's changing and it's personalized based on him. We're not quite there yet, but I can see us getting there, and it's not going to take long. It's kind of doing that in a very, it's very, how do I put it? It's not as sophisticated as what we see in that Minority Report clip. But it's heading in that direction where it's able to determine who and what content would best serve you and identify the audiences. So AI, and Lee, you probably know this better than anybody about the AI-driven ad optimization, how AI, is doing all of the heavy lifting to run ad campaigns. The creative part of it, you don't have to identify target audiences anymore. It's just like, you give it an image and it creates the hook, the content, and then it feeds it. It determines, who is best to see this that's going to convert to the ad better, right?
And it's shocking how good it is.
Yeah.
And it is so much easier to run ads now on Facebook, on Google. If you have if you do e-commerce on Amazon, not so much, although Amazon's playing catch up a little bit now. But it is truly shocking how easy it is now.
Yes, it is really, really, and it's going to be getting easier and easier, and that's really the thing. We've talked about this, I think, the last time we had a webinar about the rise of AI agents. They're getting easier to build. You can build them no code. They have improved reasoning. They can kind of self-reflect for improved performance, right? So what they can do is they can say, let me see what task I just did, and let me review it to see how I did and if I could do better. And then if it can do better, then it kind of goes, I could have done that better, and then it begins to do it better. So it has this self-improvement loop that happens. We've got whole agent operating systems and I call them agent hordes, but they're really like agent teams. Like if you had, in the corporate setting, you had, say, a marketing team or a customer service team. Let's just go with marketing team because we're familiar with that. You might have, or say a writing team, you might have a writer, a proofer, someone that does the graphics, someone that does the editing, and someone that, that does the approving or something like that. You can have each one of those kind of identified as separate AI agents all working together, passing the paper, the content off to the next agent. Then the next agent does what it's supposed to do and then passes it off to the next one, so it's completely like a hands-off experience, right? So that is going on, and it's just getting more and more and more sophisticated. And then, of course, with the rise of the like the Meta glasses and the Google glasses, which they're getting more sophisticated, you've got multimodal. And that's kind of where we are right now, is with this multimodal stuff. We've got video being created that you cannot tell if it's real. They're now able to do very realistic emotions. So like if you wanted to do a video of a human crying, you would see every little nuance in their face and every emotion in their face it's an AI, a digital, it's a digital avatar. The images, you can't tell if it's real or if it's an AI avatar. It's all just getting so realistic. They're getting better and better, and it is changing search as we know it. Okay. And the reason why it is changing search as we know it is because of a little thing called trust. Okay, because if I can't tell if this video is of a real human crying or not about, the flowers that they received, how will I know if I want to use that flower shop, right? So that's what's causing, if you guys are wondering, like, oh, what does this have to do with search and SEO and stuff like that? That is exactly what it has to do with it. All right. It's all of this stuff is getting so good, and AI is getting smarter and operating at a higher level than we are. And so it's kind of like, for those of you, I'm probably dating myself, when you might see if you know what commercial this is from. Is it Live or is it Memorex, right? It's kind of like you can't tell the difference. How many of you guys know that phrase? Just curious here. So
I was just sitting here thinking about it.
yeah. So this is impacting search in a big way. And what's happening on top of that is that people are just going away from Google and Bing, and traditional, I would call it index-based search, because that's really what Google is kind of like this big index, right? And what's happening as people are, getting the AIs, you can download the apps on your phones and stuff like that. And if you think about what happens with search, okay, I type in something, whatever the keyword is, whatever I'm looking for. What Google does is it goes out and it has all of these sites indexed, right? And then based on what I asked it and based on what it thinks that I'm looking for, it will return a list of sites, okay? Now, what I have to do as an end user is I have to click on each of those links, and I have to determine, is that information relevant? Is that what I was looking for? Okay, that's kind of how Google search works, and Bing search and stuff. What AI does is AI acts a little differently. It'll go ahead and it will review the information, right? And then it will kind of analyze the information, and it will try to serve me up the information, the answer that I'm looking for. Okay, so it's a completely different thing. And because of that, because people are like, when I go to Google, just like I said, I get a list of links, and then I have to click on the links and to find the information, or I can just go to AI where I ask it something and it gives me the answer. So it's easier for the end user to use AI and get a response that is probably more relevant to them. And so that's why AI search is changing so rapidly. It's really not about the keywords anymore. It's about answers, right? And if you think about, we don't just have a ChatGPT, we've got Gemini, we've got Copilot on top of Bing, we've got Perplexity. They actually will deliver full, complete answers. And that is really, really important. So if you think about it now, it's like, instead of ranking, it's kind of like now you want to be the answer. Okay, that's kind of how, if you say, how do we optimize the site now? Be the answer of what people are looking for. Don't just be the keyword, be the answer. All right. Again, Google is an indexer. It's not about indexing. It's about taking that information, reading it, and then determining, and interpreting that information, and then thinking, is this what Gloria was looking for? So if you have websites that are written for the AI to be able to understand them, versus just like Google crawlers or whatever, that is what is happening in search right now. Okay. AI, like we talked about, it is looking at images and video and voice, and it's determining a trust factor with those. It's not just about text, right? So not only do we just, it's not about keyword stuffing articles, it's about having images and video and voice. So it's like all of these other formats are now like getting mandatory, right? Because of, things like that's coming down the pike, which they're here, but they're going to be used more and more, is like the Ray-Ban, the Meta glasses and stuff like that. So it's kind of like people are going to be expecting this totally immersive experience video, audio, graphics, and text, right? And that's how the information needs to be served up. So it's quite something to behold. That is why really we're getting into the trust, right? It's all about the trust because the AI is getting so good. And now we're not needing backlinks, we're needing trust. Okay, it's that whole, they call it EEAT, it's experience, expertise, authority, and trust. And so what happens is the AI has to look at all of this vast information out there, and it has to determine, is this real or is it fake? Are you real or are you a poser, right? And then what it does is it'll go ahead and assign a trust factor to that website. And then if that website has the trust of the AI will show that website. It'll appear inside of AI as an answer for those, a reference to those that are looking for answers. So what we have is a situation right now where most websites are really, they're kind of, it's the way we've always done it. It's not their fault, but they're, it's kind of like they're optimized for Google and for keywords. And the truth of the matter is that is not what's going to work in this new AI reality that we're in, that they are kind of stuck right in the old ways, and we're now migrating very quickly to the new ways. They are currently bleeding traffic. They will bleed traffic much, much more with how this is, how AI is evolving faster and faster and faster. That's kind of what is going on. So it's really losing its visibility, right? Traditional SEO is losing out to AI. There were some statistics. I don't know if it's current, it might have been updated, but I think it was something like Google has lost like 10 or 15% of its search market share to the AIs. All right, and that was like slated to be up to 25% like in the next couple years or something. It was a big piece, so much so that what Google is doing, okay, is they had to up the game with their AI called Gemini, which actually, has search embedded in it and all that type of stuff. So if you think about like, why is AI so much better than like SEO? In addition to what we talked about just a few minutes ago with how Google returns information versus how the AIs return information. The AI delivers real answers, right? And so that's what people want. So when these AIs are analyzing these pages, if the website or the page on the website doesn't really answer what the user is looking for, and the AI can't determine if it's a trustworthy site or not, then it just skips over that website or that web page, right? And so it's kind of, AI uses all those factors, okay? Context, credibility, meaning, to determine, is this information relevant? It's not like we can keyword stuff because that doesn't matter. And then we also have the situation where the whole EEAT and the trust thing, it's being replaced by trust signals. Okay, so there are ways that you can do it, just like it's saying, you can do reviews. There's a bunch of different ways to establish trust for the AI to believe that one is trustworthy. So really what the bottom line is that keywords don't cut it anymore, right? We can't hack our way to AI SEO using the same methods we were using before. You can still kind of hack your way a little bit. There are things you can do to make AI love your site more than, say, somebody else's, but this is really important. Once AI decides your content isn't helpful or it doesn't trust it, then it's going to train itself to ignore your site. Okay, so that in and of itself, that should scare the bejesus out of these business owners if they're thinking like, if their business really relies on web traffic. All right, so it's not really about rank then convert. It's about proving your value up front. And on Google, we've seen these, they're called SGEs, these search generated little snippets, right? That the AI generated summaries. So things have changed quite quite a bit. And, AI sees everything across all channels. Okay. So what happens is that they see the entire presence, and they're pulling information from everywhere, from listings, from social, from review sites, from third-party sites, from video platforms. They're pulling it from everywhere, okay? And what it does is going to look at it and evaluate the trust, is this information consistent? Do I trust this person? Are they the same on YouTube as they are on their website? Are they the same on Yelp as they are on their Google listing? Are they the same on these third-party sites? And so if there's anything that's out of sync, it causes the AI to be confused. They don't know whether they can trust it or not. Okay, so photos of businesses in action, branded photos, things like that all get pulled into AI now as part of the information. Like if I'm asking a question, it's going to use all of that information to give the end user a response. And so really, this is important. If everything you publish is training the model, think about it. All of the content out there is training the model, either training it to ignore or train to use. And so you know that information, once you publish it, it is out there. Okay, it's not like it's not being found by the AI. And so really you want your, what customers should really know, and businesses that have websites and stuff, is that it's now about making sure your content is consistent across multiple channels, that the AI can read it, that the AI can trust it. Okay, it's trust, not traffic tricks. Really, that's kind of what it's all about. Okay, so what do we do, right? How do we prepare for what's coming down the pike? What can people do that have websites? Well, their sites need to be optimized for the AI, not for Google. Okay, and then their sites need to be trusted by the AI. Okay, it's not just keyword stuffing and stuff like that. It's really being trusted by the AI. And it's not just, again, it's all about what the AI can gather, and if the information is trusted and if it's accurate and all that stuff, then what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead and feed that information as an answer. Okay, so a couple of things also to prepare is, these websites should have multimodal content on them. There's lots of opportunity for us to create multimodal content, text, images, videos, and even podcast or voice type of audio type of stuff. We've got, the AIs can do all of that type of stuff, right? So it's really, the value is built before they even click. And we are at a kind of, I don't want to say a crossroads, because we've kind of been at this crossroads for a while, but it's kind of to where it's happening so very fast that, if you don't, businesses that do not optimize their websites for AI are going to suffer eventually in the long run. Okay, so let me see, what else do we have here? We've got quite a bit. I just wanted to give you guys a lot of information. Lee, I feel like I'm just like, I hope everybody's head isn't spinning. Do we need to pause and take a breath here? So,
well, number one, things are changing so rapidly. It's just kind of crazy.
Yes.
But, I was thinking about it. I've never thought about it like this. When you ask AI a question, in a way, now I know it's not an entity like you and I are people, but in a way, it already knows the answer.
Yes.
It's not like Google. I mean, Google's really, before AI, Google was really basically just a glorified popularity contest. That's all it was. The index, ranking on the index, so-and-so's asking something really close to this, query that we got before. Let's return these websites in this order because that's worked so far. A giant popularity contest.
Yes.
And So there's that issue, and frankly, I'm glad we're getting rid of that because the internet was basically mostly junk.
Mm-hmm.
But then you've got AI actually in a sense, understanding things, and actually now, the thing you said about training the model, it's actually remembering all this stuff. It is going to, okay, let's say I have a problem with my car. I want to figure out what it is. I get on, Chat GPT, Perplexity, whatever, and say, my car is making this kind of a noise, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And, you start asking it those questions, and then that naturally flows into, give me the top five, highest ranked places within a 10-mile driving distance of where I am right now, blah, 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 blah. It's remembering all that stuff. I mean, that's what's so shocking about it. That nothing goes to waste, right? Nothing is apparently, just thrown away. It's just that's yet another data point in its giant mega memory. Okay.
Yep.
And so if I go to a website, that website doesn't cut it, and then I ask some more questions, keep track of all that stuff, and so people who, just going with car analogy, people who have more real information about, let's say, personal car care or what is that funny noise? People who have more real information instead of fluff information. And, my God, I have sold a massive amount of fluff information in my life. But, businesses that have real information, they are naturally going to bubble to the top. Right?
Yeah.
Because, and that's naturally going to be that people prefer them. That AI remembers this and that it says, basically, well, the last 5 people that asked me this like that guy, so I'm going to send them that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing, Patty. Patty says the more I use ChatGPT, the more it knows about me.
That's right.
That's true. That increased exponentially when it had its big memory thing, which was about, 2 months ago or so?
Yeah. Something like that.
Yes, it is kind of Big Brother freaky. I love it, but I'm kind of like missing the analog days. Yeah, I'm with you. But anyway, so yeah. Keep going.
Yeah. So what's going on, and what do businesses need to do? Where's the opportunity? And we'll talk about that really quickly. So, websites. Okay, if you think about it, AI interprets, it doesn't index, right? So there's a structure that the AI needs the site to be, and so it can understand and summarize the website. If not, it gets skipped. So there's opportunity there, right? Because now we can go in and we can actually have AI create the site structure, reorganize the content, and do all of that. We would need to, businesses typically, a lot of them use some form of keyword stuffing, where they make sure they get their 2 keywords, per 500 word article or something like that. And so now what needs to happen is these sites need to kind of get their content redone. So that it doesn't rely on these, the keyword stuffing and stuff like that, but it's all about trust, right? So helping the businesses establish trust, such as helping them with the structured data, helping them make sure that their content is consistent across all, basically all of the interweb, right? AI needs to be able to validate it and make sure that trust factor, which it uses, that EEAT, is in place for that business. So those are ways that we can kind of capitalize on it. We could actually help businesses by creating videos for them. The AI is doing all of this, right? It can create all different types of content for them. It can help with the branding and make sure that the website is all optimized and SEO'd. And so really the bottom line is that if these businesses are not optimizing their sites and training the AI on their content and establishing their brand as trustworthy, then they're going to be ignored. And so it's kind of like they've got to do something now. This is where the opportunity is before things get too out of hand. And I think, yeah, Lee, that's pretty much kind of where we are, and what we've got. I guess we can answer any questions.
Yeah, very cool. Let's flip it over to me a minute, and I'll show you some cool stuff, and then we will open it up for some Q&A. But let me make myself the presenter. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So Gloria and I, as usual, to keep you guys abreast of all of this stuff, we've created some new training. All right. It is launching. See that counter? When that hits 0, it launches. That's going to be tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock Eastern time. I'm going to go through this sales letter, and not going to read you the whole thing as usual, but I'm just going to kind of bop through it and show you what we've got for you. Because what Gloria said was, the old AI doesn't work. As a matter of fact, it hurts now. Okay.
Old SEO, you mean?
Excuse me. The old SEO doesn't work. It actually hurts now. The new AI SEO is what businesses need to be doing. Well, that means that you guys need to know about that and need to be selling that. So, to the point of doing that, use free AI tools to deliver high-paying SEO services. This is a copy, paste, send, and get paid system. Copy and paste your way to an easy 6-figure plus income. AI does all the work. This is new training. It's called AI SEO Rank and Bank. It's all about the new AI SEO. More and more people now search directly, as we've talked about, on platforms like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and whatever. But most local businesses are not built for AI, exactly what Gloria just said. So they don't show up in those searches, and we're seeing the numbers. I check every few months and try to find how much market share Google is losing. How much market share is the old style of searching losing to AIs? Shockingly rapidly is what's happening. Now, the thing is, you can take a business's website and fix it so that it shows up when someone searches for something like we were talking about through ChatGPT or through Perplexity or whatever, which is what people are starting to do by the millions. And furthermore, you can get very well paid for this. Let me show you how to build a real income offering AI SEO services to local businesses. And here's the kicker. Without needing to become an AI expert. We've got a 3-step system that we use to find clients, to get clients, to educate clients, to land clients, and then to do the work. So we use free AI, so free ChatGPT, to audit a business's website. You don't have to know all the ins and outs. You just have to know how to use the AI to audit the business's website. That shows us exactly what needs fixing. Next, we send that audit to our prospective clients using an email that we've used for quite a while doing this. That closes the sale for it, and we outsource the work to people on Fiverr for pennies on the dollar. We're talking about for 5% of the overall gross income that you're charging, paying someone on Fiverr, 5% of that. You're not taking advantage of someone. That's just the fact that they can live so much more cheaply in the Philippines and Pakistan and India and wherever than you and I can. Check out this graphic. Our new 3-step copy and paste system sells high-ticket SEO services automatically. We never talk to clients. AI plus outsourcing does all the work. Step 1, copy and paste. Okay, take the business's URL, drop it into the AI using our prompt. It like I said, generates the report, load that up with the email, hit send, get paid. That easy. Now, y'all know us, but I also know there's a lot of people on this webinar who don't necessarily know us that well because I don't recognize your names. But you can read through all this, okay? You can read through all this, and I'm not going to read you this entire thing. Turn AI SEO audits into fast cash. That's really what we're talking about. So, proven AI prompts, copy and paste emails, step-by-step training, full blueprint to fast profit. Our new training product, launching tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern, when the counter on this sales letter goes to 0. And let me go ahead and pop the link to the sales letter in here. You can't buy this yet. You can buy it at 11 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. AI SEO Rank Bank, simple copy and paste system, uses free AI tools to create pro-level SEO audits from an AI point of view for local business websites. No tech skills needed. Forget cold calls, pricey ads, or chasing clients. You can do this because we know we got a lot of you guys that don't even want to turn this into a full-time business. This is a side business, and that I find that totally cool. You can make more money in your side business than you do in your job, by the way. But build your income in minutes a day. Be the first to offer. Now, this is really important. Be first to market. Be the first to offer local businesses this cutting-edge AI solution. We give you everything that you need. All of our training, all of the handouts, 30,000 leads, handouts, documents, reports, PDFs. All of this stuff does all of the selling, the explaining, everything for you, guides, manual, everything. You can read the step-by-step training course, AI SEO arbitrage strategy, what you'll be selling, exactly how to sell it. We tell you what to charge for it, proven AI prompts, outreach templates, Fiverr fulfillment system. If you've never hired anybody on Fiverr, it can be, somewhat off-putting slightly. Well, how do I find the right person? Well, how do I communicate with them? Don't worry, we got you covered. We're going to tell you exactly how to do that. I mean, we've got it templatized. Client onboarding, okay, what to do when you get a client. How do you communicate with them? The whole thing. If you want to get the bump offer with this, we have an AI SEO content playbook. I'll show you that in a minute. Grab our AI SEO playbook and unlock our latest methods for turning your content into a trusted source on AI platforms like ChatGPT. Of course, those methods extend to your clients too. Everything right here at our normal price. Gloria, I keep threatening to raise prices, and Gloria talks me back from the ledge. This is our normal price, $37. Obviously, we need to make money doing this because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do all the enormous amount of work we do to bring this to you guys. And I know nobody else teaches this like me and Gloria. I know that. So you would just be out in the cold. $37. Now, there are a few upsells. You don't have to have them at all. Okay, I might be talking myself and Gloria out of money here. Look at all of these handouts and all this stuff you get with this. Docs, reports, PDF, manual, guides. So you don't have to have anything else. This first step, $37. This is the entire system. However, if you want to hit the ground running and go big, we got a couple of things that you want to take a look at. Okay, OTO1, AI SEO Rank Bank Instant Influence Pack. Basically, this is a ginormous marketing package that's going to give you everything that you need, totally cutting edge. You're going to see how cutting edge in a minute. Totally cutting edge to market yourself as the new AI SEO expert. This website is just killer. Well, when you get here tomorrow, after you buy the front end product, you land here. This website right here. Here, I'll pop the website in there so you can look at it. Free hosting on the website too, guys. Okay.
And it comes with the chat bot as well. So.
And it's got a chat bot. There's the chat bot. It comes with a chat bot. This website does all your selling for you. Get your free audits, got a squeeze page and all that stuff. AI is changing. It does all of the explaining. Look, Gloria does nothing but sit around on X and talk with all of her other totally geeky AI buddies. That's all she does. And so it's easy. It's easy for her to keep up with all this stuff. The rest of us normal human beings, I mean, you got to think about it. A business owner like the auto shop, a guy running an independent auto shop, he doesn't have 15 hours a day to keep up with AI. So you need a way to help them understand what this is and why they need it. The website goes a long way toward doing this. AI SEO services, AI optimization, Google Business Profile enhancement. We'll talk some more about that in a minute. Yada, yada, yada. So when you land on here, or you can look at it now, just put the link in there, didn't I? Now, these are so cool. 24 UGC vertical videos. These are 3 examples. I'm showing you 3 out of 24. When you see this tomorrow, go here. These are amazingly killer vertical videos. They're all about, half a minute each, just like we like our content short now. So you get those, and you're going to use these in social media. Put them on your website. Send them out to potential clients to explain stuff, or 24 long-form podcast-style audios. So when you get here, click this. These are 3 examples out of 24. And in addition to all that, you get all of this other stuff. Canva ebook marketing pack. Okay, so basically this is going to essentially sell your services for you. Cold outreach resource guide, full setup guide, so you know how to do all this stuff. That's all there for you. So that's OTO1. Gloria, you want to tell them about OTO2? Because I know OTO2 is kind of like your little baby.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So what we wanted to do was really provide something very clever for you for OTO2. And I just got back from, I had a little vacation up to Montana, and I just got back last night. So we're testing it and stuff. But what it does is it's like a landing page. But instead of just you're sending them like a report or something like that, it does 2 things. It is like a traffic calculator. So what it'll do is it'll ask them for some information, and that portion is they don't need to put their email in just yet. And then when they put in like their website, the type of business or their business name, then what's going to happen is it's going to go ahead and it's going to analyze and see how much traffic that they are potentially missing by, that they're potentially not taking advantage of, that's out there that they're not taking advantage of for their, category, keyword, what type of business they are, all that stuff. Then as soon as it gives them that information, it immediately will go and then it will ask, would you like a free an AI audit, an SEO audit of your website, to make for AI SEO? And if they say yes, it'll ask them for the email, and then it'll actually create a custom report and deliver it to them, and then notify you that, you got a lead, that, the report was sent to XYZ person. So it's a little more than it's like a squeeze page with a lead magnet, but the lead magnet isn't a report. It is it's a tool. So it's a tool-based one. And it was designed to really make you look like, wow, very advanced and all that type of stuff. Anyway, that's it for OTO2.
That is so cool. OTO2, everything's at our normal prices. Front end's $37, OTO1's $57, OTO2, which is quite something, is $77. We will have examples on all of the sales pages for this tomorrow. We're running slightly behind which is really my fault.
Well, no, I was on vacation all this week.
Well, so, I was going to take the blame. Okay, this is really why we're running behind, because Gloria was out rustling cattle for a week. That's why. She was out playing cowgirl.
Big Sky Country. I was in Big Sky Country for the
There
weekend.
You go. But there will be an example, you can get it, you put a URL, you can see it tomorrow, put a
Yeah,
URL
yeah, yeah,
in it,
yeah.
and, you can see all how it works. It's totally cool. Those are the first two OTOs. Now, we have some more OTOs, which usually we don't have, but we've had a lot of new people come into our world, i.e. end up on our mailing list lately. And we realize this isn't going to be for all of y'all because a lot of you on this call have already bought various instances of the two things I'm going to show you. But we know that they fit in, they dovetail perfectly with what we've got here, and it's phenomenal information. Furthermore, everything is updated for 2025. I'm just later on today going to put in the update video into both of those. But in case you didn't get it before, Google Business Turbo Profits GPT and Google Business Arbitrage Profits GPT. This is the front end and the OTO one of a phenomenal product we sold a little over a year ago. Like I said, I'm just being honest with you. A lot of y'all have it, but it's fully updated for 2025. Okay, now for those of you that already have this, you're going to get the update. The page with the update's just not in the members area yet, but you can get this. You can use this to understand how in today's AI world, you actually optimize a business's Google listings so that that gets found. And we've talked about this before. You can use ChatGPT. You can say, or Perplexity or whatever, you can say, best seafood restaurant near me, and it will pull back the Google listings, just like it would with maps. It can pull back the Google listings. So it's incredibly important that your clients make their Google listing so that it shows, so that it's exactly the same thing as for websites. Yeah, so that it's
because
optimized
remember, it's going all across the interwebs.
Exactly,
it's not just
exactly.
it's
It's not
looking
just
for the
looking in its own little index. So we got that. And this is for a very low price. We've also got this. This is our other signature Google training that we've done over the past year and a half or so, GBP Next Gen. GBP Next Gen is basically about how to take these skills that you get in Turbo Profits and ramp them way up. Okay, getting clients. This is all about what Gloria's talking about, EEAT, authority, and all that stuff. And GBP Next Gen shows you how to upgrade any business's Google listing for the new search, and shows you how to attract and close high-paying local business clients effortlessly. You can look at both of those. In addition to that, we've got one more thing, and again, this not all of y'all. Some of you already have this because some of you took the master class, the lead gen master class from us. But we've got a done for you, totally automated. I don't have the web page, the sales letter here finished for that. We've got a totally automated, and when I mean totally automated, I mean absolutely soup to nuts, totally automated lead generation system that you can buy. We'll install the whole thing for you. It goes out and it finds businesses, leads. It scores those leads. In other words, it automatically decides which ones need to be approached first and all that stuff. This is without any intervention from you. It writes the sales email to send to those leads. It sends the sales email to those leads. It does absolutely everything. It just sits there like a ticking clock all day long, all night long, trundling along, getting you business. And we're offering this. Again, some of you already got this, if you took the Lead Gen Masterclass. But those of you who didn't, we're offering you this. We'll be offering you this tomorrow, and we will install the whole thing. Okay, so there you have it. That is what is involved in the whole funnel. I think that's it. Launches tomorrow at 11 o'clock. when the counter, this is if I can count. I always get screwed up by daylight savings time or non-daylight savings time. But anyway, when this thing goes to 0 and or it's 11 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, this whole thing launches. You can take a look at it. It will be available at these prices that I've stated through Monday, after which time we usually, within a few days, I don't always do it like on Tuesday. I'm just, because we have a lot of people who are buying Tuesday, Wednesday, stuff like that. I'm not here to draw lines in the sand. But in the next few days after that, whenever I decide to, okay, I'm going to keep the price the same through Monday night, 12 p.m., midnight Eastern time. But after that, when I decide to, without warning to you, the prices go up. Okay? Cool. So, Gloria, we've got like 14 million questions.
Okay, let's take a look at them. Let's see if we can answer them. Okay, let's see here. Okay, let's see. Let me just make this a little bit bigger.
Are you starting at the bottom or the top?
Where should I start, at the bottom or the top?
Let's start at the bottom.
Okay.
Patty wants to know if GBP still needs weekly updates. Does it need updating? Do you need fresh content?
Yeah, you actually do, quite frankly. It's because of the trust factor. And so that's why, one of the reasons why we decided to include the GBP was because it's like the website is the foot in the door, right? And then the rest is, kind of like, remember we talked about the trust across, it's looking across everything constantly. And so the fresh content that fits in with the trust criteria is very much needed. It definitely helps, let's put it that way. So regular updates, that is a great opportunity for monthly, monthly recurring revenue, basically.
Awesome. So Kip wants to know, optimizing for AI, does that affect old style rankings?
Yeah, so we're kind of in a transition right now, right? So we're not 100% over to AI, but AI is encroaching more and more onto Google. And so
I would say it's exploding. It's not encroaching.
Yeah. And so what's happening is, in this transition period, these websites are kind of getting picked up by both, right? So if they already have it optimized, they've got like the metadata and the meta tags and all that stuff. It's not like you want to like delete all of that, right? What you want to do is you want to add on, and then you probably will need to revamp some of their content, restructure it and stuff like that, so that it kind of fits into both worlds, basically, is what you're going to want to do. Add on AI content and then tweak their site so that it can be read with both for right now, because we are in this in-between period, right? And then eventually AI will, take over. So,
well, also, I was just thinking about this, Kip.
Winston has a great
question. A few of the top ranking factors, and we've known this for a long time, a few of the top ranking factors, we're talking about in the old style ranking, the Google index and all that, are where does the traffic to the site come from? Okay, is it an authoritative place in Google's eyes that it comes from? Otherwise, you could just, we used to have traffic farms and all that crap. Where does it come from? And how many pages does it read? Does the visitor read? How long does the visitor stay on the site? It's all this stuff that Google just struggled for years with. With all of the updates, the penguins and the whatevers and all that stuff. This is years ago. Google has been trying for years to make the internet more authoritative, except it didn't really happen, and along comes OpenAI and ChatGPT, and that's what did it. But yeah, the more people are searching for a given business, the more that business is, from AI, from an AI platform, the more information that business has, on its website, so that the AI can trust it, can get the requisite information, give it to the user within ChatGPT, within Perplexity, etc. And then the person reads that and says, yeah, that really sounds like, the whatever I need. Click on that. That's a very authoritative place that click just came from when it hits that website. So old style Google is going to, as it always has, keep up with that. So I think the jury's a bit out on this, and we are in a transitional period. But unless old style Google changed some really important things, it can't help but help.
Yeah. So I was just going to say, Winston has a really great question, and this is going to help answer a couple of other questions. Winston said, usually ranking on Google's first or second page takes months or years. Does this AI SEO rank faster? Yes, it does, because it instantly has access to the information. And we've got to, this is so fascinating, because we have been used to the 3-pack, the 5-pack, the 50, whatever the pack is. I don't even it changes all the time, right? And ranking first, second, third, or fourth. Okay. That is ranking via an index listing. Okay, that's how Google ranks, right? AI doesn't return, this site inside of the AI. What AI does is it takes the information from the site and it synthesizes it into an answer, and then it gives you the answer, and then it would say something, maybe hyperlink, well, so-and-so business, and then hyperlink does, what you're asking for, so you can actually click that link inside of the AI. So it's different. It's not search engine optimization. It's AI. I think I've heard some call it GEO, right? AIEO. Different ways too. It's AI optimization, AIO. So it's not like the same as you're ranked first, second, third, fourth as in Google. Is your information hidden from the AI? Or is it where the AI can actually access your information and determine, is this business trustworthy, where I can recommend it, I can talk about it, discuss it with the end user who just asked questions that I need to answer, if that makes sense. So because I've seen some questions about the 3-pack and the 5-pack and stuff like that. And so it's a little bit different type of ranking, right? It's not it's not one, ranking 1, 2, 3. It's finding answers. I hope that helps. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's see what else. Kip. So the strategy will be adding additional content that is AI optimized. Yeah, the current strategy, yes. Don't stick around with the old style SEO. Just add AI optimized content.
Well,
but how you do that is...
Yeah, that's exactly right. What's going to happen is you're going to get, the AI is going to analyze the website, and it's going to return a list of everything that is needed in order to AI optimize that site. It's like creating FAQs. It's like reorganizing things and multimodalizing and stuff like that. So yes, that's exactly, it's adding, it's reorganizing, it's tweaking the current site, right? So say for example, the site has some images, and the images, one of the things that you can do to optimize the images, because AI uses images because it's multimodal, is you can go into the property of the images and you can geotag them so it knows. You can, kind of have a long tail type of explanation of what that site or what that image shows. 2 men working on a water heater, 2 plumbers for XYZ company, things like that, right? So those are the types of things that you can do. Make sure the information is consistent across, where we used to call it the name address, the NAP, right? making the citations, making sure that everything is consistent, all the information. It's things like that as well. So yeah, that's kind of a part of it.
The old style, like last year, the old style ranking factors. I mean, we've talked about those for over a decade. But Gloria, I was thinking about really what are you optimizing for when you're optimizing for AI, and really that idea is encapsulated in that acronym EEAT.
Trust.
Trust, trustworthiness, authoritativeness, expertise. I can never remember what the second E is. But I mean, you're optimizing for good, solid information.
Yeah, experience, expertise,
expertise,
and then trust.
Right. Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust.
Yeah.
So how do you do that? Right. So how do you do that? Multimodal content, real content, okay? In-depth content, right? So and content that's not just, God, I'm responsible for thousands of web pages of crap from over a decade ago, where you took the keyword and you put it within, I've forgotten the formula, you put it within the first 10 words, and then you get some linguistically, semantically related things, and you salt and pepper that in the thing, and then you end with the thing, and blah, 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 blah. Literally, no joke, guys. I've created thousands of pages of that stuff. And it's fluff. I mean, it's really fluff. It carries no weight.
Yeah.
It didn't need to carry weight. It needed to just, check some little boxes on Google. But this is the opposite of that. Right?
Yes.
This is the opposite of the meaningless crap content. This is, okay, well, you own the independent auto store. Well, you can think. And, you don't have to think. You can ask ChatGPT. What does a person, I mean, honestly, guys, I'm in my 60s, so I used to change my oil. I used to do all this stuff. My grandfather taught me how to work on cars. I'm pretty sure people don't know those things nowadays, besides the fact the cars are impossible to work on, if you're just a shade tree mechanic. But so you think to yourself, you've got a population of people using automobiles, and they're fairly ignorant of automobiles. They're more ignorant than they used to be. And so what do they need to know? What do they need to know about what's the importance when that little dashboard light comes on? What does that mean? Let's say the little, overheating the engine dashboard light comes on. Should you ignore that? Oh, yeah, you should ignore that if you want to absolutely destroy your engine within the next 5 minutes. Go ahead and ignore it. But what does that mean? These folks don't know that. People out there don't know those things. And so it would really behoove an independent auto repair place to actually have an enormous amount of in-depth content aimed at the user, not aimed at mechanics, but how do you take care of your car? Why do you need to change your oil more often than you're probably changing it? What do all those little lights mean? Why do you need to rotate your tires? What do you look for when, what does it mean when one side of the tire is balding and the other side of the tire isn't balding? All of that stuff, that's the kind of stuff that AI is looking for. That's the kind of stuff that makes it sit up and say, aha, that's a business that actually understands what's going on. That plus videos of people working on cars, plus all kind of infographics, all kinds of stuff. That's what you need. Okay. Outreach to bring traffic. We had like 40 questions that flew by. I've lost my place. Joseph, this great new info. Thank you. What I'm hearing is this really should be paired with direct outreach or targeted ads. Yeah, you could pair this with targeted ads. I mean, you surely could, or you could buy. And I'm not just pitching something because it's mine. I'm pitching it because it actually works. I can't show it to you yet. Well, I'll be able to show it to you when this launches tomorrow. But you could buy our automated lead generation system, which is the last OTO. and you don't even need ads. It's actually going to sit there and find the right businesses, write the email for that business. It's not copying and pasting anything. This is an AI.
Yeah.
It's writing the email for that business, sending the email out to that business, and Joseph, you just, field the inquiries as they come in.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can use ads. I love ads. I mean, Gloria
Yeah.
talked about me and ads. I am an ads proponent, but yeah, you could do all of the above.
Yeah. If you wanted to drive traffic, absolutely. So there's been a couple of questions on the website, which we offer a kind of a basic website in OTO1, and then OTO2 is the kind of that AI calculator, that calculator.
I will have, I apologize,
Yeah.
but I will have an example of that for you on the OTO2 sales page. Click and look at it to your heart's content. It just didn't quite happen.
Yeah. So just so you know, with this, this is fully customizable. We're moving away from WordPress because WordPress is a little bit bloated. I still use Thrive themes, but this, is just much faster. It's pure HTML. The AI is now code, like full blown code. And so if you wanted to modify this, we actually give you a whole process to take this existing code, feed AI the code and the modifications, and it spits out all new code. And then you just, replace the old code with the new code. It is that easy now to do this, right? So this is a HTML because it's much faster. It doesn't have any gunk in the code. It's, optimized for mobile and stuff like that. So, and then the one that we're doing for OTO2, which is the AI report generator / lead magnet, it's gonna be a kind of like a landing page or a squeeze page looking thing. Probably these colors to where it's kind of similar to this. It'll have the hook and the headline to drive people to take action. And then, it'll kind of go through the process that I described. This is a great question Art asked, okay. Does AI give or take away value for AI generated images or even text? That is such a great question. So AI, again, it's all about trust. So let's just say I gave it the information. I said, my name is Gloria Gunn. Here's my business address. This is the business of what I do, and blah, blah, blah. And I tell it all that. And then I tell it to write something about me. And it includes that information in that AI, right? That is because that information is real. AI could go and look on other sources to say, oh yeah, that is her business address, that is her website, blah, blah, blah. Just because AI wrote that information, it doesn't mean like, oh, now it's untrustworthy. If the information is real and valid, that's what makes it trustworthy or not trustworthy. Okay, so in addition to that, with images as well, let's just say for me, I had an image, but normally if I wanted to do like a, say photo, I'd, get the hair and the makeup and stuff like that. Well, now you can have AI do it. So maybe I have an image, but it's really my face, but it's me in a different pose or different clothes or different background or whatever. AI can look at that, even though I had AI generate the image. If I have an image of me out there, it can validate, yeah, that's an AI image of Gloria, but it still looks like Gloria. Then it's not going to say, oh my God, AI created it, therefore I can't trust it. Okay, so that's kind of how it works, if that makes sense. It kind of looks at the information that AI created, whether it be graphic or video or audio or text, and it says, is this real? Can I validate it? Can I trust that information? That's kind of how that works. All right, so yeah.
Arthur Goodall, you asked to go over the first two upsells again. So you're looking here, Influencer Pack. This is the first upsell. And this is basically a ton of stuff that's going to help you enormously in establishing yourself as an expert and making the sale, including the website that we were just talking about, okay, which is right here. And I put that website, the link to this particular website, put that in the chat, Arthur, just a little while ago, so you can poke around there. 24 UGC vertical videos. Okay, these are, you use these to on social media, et cetera, to advertise yourself and to establish yourself. 24 long form podcast style audios. Ditto with that. We're all about now. Not only does your client need to, have a lot of different styles of media and not just text, but you do too, frankly. So that's why we've started offering all this stuff. And in addition, you get a Canva ebook marketing pack called Outreach Resource Guide, full setup guides for absolutely everything. And so that's OTO1. OTO2 is the calculator. It's basically it's like a traffic calculator / squeeze page all rolled into one. Okay, and I apologize for not having an example up here, but it will be fully on the OTO2 sales page tomorrow. Again, you click to your heart's content, try it out, etc. But basically, you can send this to somebody who's interested in what you do. Like let's say you go to network meetings. Okay, you're in a network meeting. It's after the meeting. That's really when the magic happens, right? And you're talking to people. What do you do? Well, I do blah blah blah. What do you do? Well, I do blah blah blah. Well, yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about that. Well, I can do better. I can. Your website for your law firm's probably losing a ton of traffic because of this whole new AI thing. Would you mind if I just when I get back to the office, would you mind if I just sent you a link and you can go there and take the URL to your website, pop it in there, and it's going to show you exactly how much traffic you're losing because you are not optimized for AI.
Yeah.
That's a very, very powerful beginning to a great sales relationship, right? So that's OTO2, and again, we will have examples for you, et cetera, et cetera. So we got that.
So for Mark has a great question. How is AI going to look at all these similar AI SEO web pages? That's a really great question. So what we've done in the training and in the content is we have something called an AI SEO agency website customization table. And what that is a table that you're going to input information in, and then we give you the prompt to provide to ChatGPT. So that tweaks it so that you can do whatever you want to that code base and change the text, you can change the colors, you can change, you don't want buttons, you want different menu items, whatever you want to do, you just put it in the table and then you put the prompt in and then it'll generate the code and then you just replace that code with the existing code in the website. We've also had a question about the website hosting. Vercel is 100% free. So if you don't want to use a domain name, it'll be, whatever name you choose, .vercel. I think
it would look like this, AI SEO agency site. .vercel.app.
Yeah. If you want it, that you want a domain name. So if you do it like that, it's not going to cost you anything and it's free forever. If you want a domain name, then you would just have to pay for the domain name, and then you could host it and it would just be, yourdomainname.com or whatever. So so it's very customizable.
Yeah, gone are the days when you have to know HTML.
Yeah,
in order to go in and customize a website. I don't really like the blue. I want orange. So you got to go online. You got to find the hexadecimal, thing for the orange color you want. And then you got to find all the places to put that in.
Yeah, you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, you don't need to do that. You basically, and we show you how to do this. You basically, with our training and prompts, you put this into to the AI, and the AI says, oh, okay, so this is how you want to change that website, and spits out the entire thing. Again,
the entire code base, and then
the whole thing.
Yeah. And then, what they do now is it's called fork. And so what you do is you fork it over to Vercel, and we show you how to do that and give you instructions for how to do all that. So it's very
So, Gloria, is this website that we're currently looking at, I mean, it's basically an HTML website?
It is an HTML website, and then it has the chat bot that you get embedded in it, basically.
So it's basically hosted on Vercel. What I'm getting to is, what if you wanted to take the same website along with the chatbot and just put it on your own hosting, like you have a page?
Yeah, you can do that. If you say you have Namecheap or GoDaddy or whatever, you can do that as well. So
you just have to have a page, and
you have to have hosting. Have to have a hosting and stuff like that, and where you just upload the web files over to your cpanel. It's the same thing. These are just HTML.
Just like we did, just like we've done, Daryl, for 15, 20 years, whatever.
Yeah. There was a question for OTOT on the licensing or something like that. Daryl asked, are there any there limitations in how many free audits we can offer? So what we've done is that you are going to get your ChatGPT or OpenAI API key, and then, or you can do whatever one. It doesn't have to be OpenAI. It can be any of them. And then that key is going to be you're going to put it in the config.py file is how that works. And we give you instructions for all that, so that it's going to ping that to get the API key before it processes it. So so it's as there are no limitations unless you place any limitations on it, Daryl.
What other questions? I'm kind of scrolling up through here, see if we missed anything.
We got everything. We talked about the ranking.
If we missed a question, guys, do me a favor and just pop it back in, because we've got we haven't read out every question. I'm just kind of keeping track. I mean, every time we give an answer, it answers like 6 questions. So I'm trying not to bore you with repetitive answers. But if there's something we missed, pop it back in here.
Yeah.
Okay. The replay to this webinar, I will have that available to you for you tomorrow. And what I usually do is just send you an email. I have a link for the replay and a link for that sales letter right there. Okay. So if you want to, the replay will just be up on a page somewhere. All right. Owned by me. It's not going anywhere, but it'll just be up on a page somewhere. So you can look at it to your heart's content, and then it will link over to this. But it's not going, the replay's not going anywhere, because I know there's a ton of information, not just from what the Q&A here, but from what Gloria was teaching you before. There is a ton of information here.
So Joseph, you're welcome. I'm glad that you found value in the presentation. And then Joe, for replacing the chatbot. The chatbot is really an embed code. And so if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. You can just take the embed code. If you want to host it on another hosting, the chatbot will go with the website on any hosting. It's embedded on the code of the website. It doesn't really matter the hosting of it. So excellent.
Very good, guys. Thank you so much.
You bet. Hope it added value. Appreciate it.
Again, available starting tomorrow at 11 o'clock through Monday at these low prices. If you have any questions, everybody here has support. Support is also on every single web page. Go all the way down here. You can get to support. From the emails, you can get to support. From the members area, you can get to support. So, if you got a question about this, hit us up. And Patty says, thank you so much, Lee, and Cowgirl Gloria.
Big sky country, yep.
There you go.
Thanks a lot, guys. I'm glad it added value. I'm glad you found value in it.
See y'all later.
See ya. All right, bye-bye.